Soul Retriever got real comfortable in Adidas's inbox. And now they're about to get real familiar with Adidas's legal. The first thing brands are going to think about now when an outlet reaches out isn't who is this? No, it's is this about to turn into another hey gang email? Sneaker leaks have been a part of the game for forever. Y'all know the accounts: blurry images, terrible crop, captions that can't confirm, but sources close to the situation suggest that these might be real. Brother, I can't confirm what I'm looking at. That could be an AE2 or a Skechers Shape Up from 2009. Nobody knows. But it got 40,000 likes because anticipation sells like sex, and we will hype up a shadow if the lighting is right. Eager beaver ass behavior. And brands complain, fans celebrate, and everybody quietly benefits. That's the game, and it has been for years. But this is what happens when you confuse being around the game for having power in it. And now an email about shoes starts reading like a ransom note written by ChatGPT with way too much cockiness. Sent on August 31st, opens with, "Hey, gang." Hey, gang? That's how you open a text to roommates about whose turn it is to buy toilet paper. Nobody has ever started a hostage negotiation to a Fortune 500 company like that until now. Then it goes on to say, and quote, "We have the full AE2 lineup and we see no reason to keep doing you favors." Read that again slowly. I have your unreleased product. What are you going to give me? You typed that, read it back, still hit send, and none of the homies was like, chill, bro. And Adidas said no and said to cease and desist. And Soul Retriever posted anyway. The AE2, the AE3, the Donovan Mitchell, all of it. And now you're headed to court because you was too damn thirsty. Shit, get a Sprite instead. It's cheaper. Let me ask this plainly, Collab Cousins. Is this Adidas trying to crush independent media, or a platform that walked in calling itself media and started negotiating like it had a badge and a demand? Because the line between covering the culture and trying to control it just got real clear. I'm Bimma, and you're in the Collab Lab. Now, Adidas has been building the Anthony Edwards line into a cornerstone business. I'm talking a whole athlete storytelling program around a 24-year-old shit talker who plays like he's been in the league for a decade. That kind of investment requires more control over protecting belief than that Kendrick verse. Now, that did not matter to Soul Retriever. They, in fact, had other plans. And on March 12th, Adidas filed a federal suit in Oregon, corporate version of "We about to beat that ass," but with billing rates. And the defendants, Soul Retriever, founder Harris Munson, and 5 unidentified individuals Adidas believes could include its own employees. Because this ain't the first time that information that should have stayed inside those walls has ended up somewhere that it shouldn't. Y'all about to learn that snitches get subpoenas and a payment plan that your grandkids are gonna be inheriting. The charges: you took what wasn't yours, posted it anyway, and then tried to make Adidas give you something for it. At least that's what Adidas is alleging in the complaint. If you saw $75,000 and went, "That's it," no, that's not it. That is the floor per claim. And if the judge decides that the AE2, the AE3, and the Don 8 are all separate violations, that can add up fast. And we're not at the scary part yet, because before punitive damages, before subscription revenue peels back, before a judge decides what willful and malicious actually costs, the $75,000 was the number that fit into the headline. The real number is still being calculated. Don't get me started on Soul Retriever's same-day response. Proud, independent media. First Amendment, protected speech, no wrongdoing. Cool stance, bro. Love the confidence. And then you got the Under Armour CCO jumping in the comments saying, "We don't respond for a reason." So it sounds like Adidas was not the only brand getting emails like this. They're just the ones who decided to say, "Fuck around and find out" in court. Now, if you're wondering why is Adidas so pissed and likely going to try and bleed Soul Retriever dry, then you have to understand this fact. They have been fighting for relevance in basketball for years. They lost MJ, Kobe, LeBron. The only bigger loss was Jordan Brand spending $75 million on freaky Zion. They've had more misses than folks hating on Bam's 83-point game. Yeezy basketball did not jump over the jump man. Fear of God athletics. It needed more prayers. Then Anthony Edwards shows up. You can hear him before you see him. The AE1 sells, the AE2 builds, and for the first time in years, they got something that speaks for itself. The AE1 line is a $100 million projected business, so no, this is not about a leak or trying to silence independent media. This is about protecting the only athlete that Jordan Brand wishes they signed. Adidas' whole job here is to sell the moment you decide to care. And if they can't control the moment, somebody else does. Now look back at December 2024. Soul Retriever leaks a Shoe Palace and Adidas collab. And a source tells me that Shoe Palace thought Adidas did it on purpose. Now, Adidas is over here trying to explain that the leak wasn't their control to a partner holding all this inventory and also keeping score. So I asked attorney Kenneth Anand, what actually matters here? Basically, what they're saying is that we were held hostage or extorted by Soul Retriever. And if you don't give us preferential treatment, we're going to leak these images. Adidas just wouldn't be extorted that way. And on why the email changes everything, Anand said, if Soul Retriever just posted these images, even knowing they came from an inside source, it would be less of a legal issue. The problem is that they intentionally tried to leverage these images in order to gain preferential treatment. So Soul Retriever really thought that they had something to trade here. Meanwhile, Adidas turned this into a whole case, and now everybody is watching with their popcorn what arrogance costs. So let's take a look at the scoreboard here. Everybody is leaving with something from this situation. Contestant A gets a try me if you want to billboard, and contestant B gets a GoFundMe. Look, Adidas, they got the one thing a legal team dreams about more than suing Skechers. A paper trail so obvious that it reads like a confession signed by Usher. Now, this isn't a whodunit. It is a you did that shit. And usually you have to look for the smoking gun. This time, the gun sent a calendar invite and copied the whole industry. Now, every outlet, every creator, every platform operating in the gray space just watched Adidas take that email to court. Now, after warning shots, they came for the head top. Man, this escalated from per my last email to okay, bet, CC legal. One bad actor makes everybody a suspect. Now, every leak account is looking at this federal filing and shitting themselves. Look, Adidas ain't just about to protect the bag. They about to repost this whole leak hustle. So Soul Retriever, yeah, they got attention. The kind that comes with a gavel and a case number. Adidas basically told the whole world that Soul Retriever was important enough to get sued, which is a hell of a way to validate your reach. But they didn't just get a spotlight, they got a colonoscopy. Their whole operation is on trial, not just what they did, how they make money. That's a bad time to realize your payroll might be evidence. It's like charging admission to your own crime scene. Every image, every post, every source, every trust me bro just got upgraded to Exhibit A. And bigger than the leak, Adidas is arguing that Soul Retriever built a business on stolen product images and confidential designs. And if other brands have similar emails, similar patterns, this just gave every other brand a roadmap. And some of them have been waiting in the cut just to say, gotcha, bitch. And Soul Retriever just went from the plug to the precedent. And attorney Kenneth Anand also doesn't think that Adidas has any reason to not pursue this to the fullest extent, even if it means putting Soul Retriever out of business. Sneaker media has always been a toxic marriage held together by shared love and over-engineered foam and desperate needs for validation. It's a don't ask, don't tell policy where the brands pretend they aren't leaking information and the outlets pretend they aren't being manipulated. We've normalized the clout chasing, the trust me bro sources, and the kind of thirst that will make Lil Baby in the sauna look hydrated. But we've never normalized a ransom note. Now, for years, the silent agreement was simple. You stay in your lane, we stay in ours. Brands dangle access like a carrot. Outlets use insider information to keep the lights on. Everybody complains about the game, but everybody quietly plays along. That is the hustle. But I spoke to the sources across the industry, people who have been in the trenches from Beaverton to Boston to Herzogenaurach. This has been a pattern from Soul Retriever. Sources that I talked to in the industry say that a variation of these same aggressive email tactics have allegedly hit Reebok, Under Armour, and even Converse. Same play, different letterhead, same entitlement. It's an approach to brand relationships built on, I have your property, now what's it worth to you? Tony Soprano with a Gmail account. Now bring Yeezy Mafia into it. They were leaking everything except for Kanye's underwear, and I'm not sure they didn't have that too. Adidas called the FBI. Yes, the FBI over sneakers. And somewhere there's an agent that trained for counterterrorism now tracing Yeezy leaks. And the source was the IT guy. The IT guy was the plug. And that didn't end up with a lawsuit because no one asked for something back. Soul Retriever did, and that's the difference. If Soul Retriever wins, the gray area, it becomes a free-for-all. The ask gets bigger, the emails, they get bolder, and the access stops being something you earn and it starts being something you can put pressure for. And brands, they're already paranoid. They're gonna lock down everything, and the trade-off is ugly. We all lose the benefit of the doubt because one amateur tried to put a toll booth on the culture's bridge. So here's the real question nobody in that courtroom can answer. If leaks stop, what does sneaker media actually have left to say? The culture built Soul Retriever. The same people that are spending $30 a month on cook groups just to have a shot at retail, the same Discord servers that are charging people for early release information. That's the same culture that gave Soul Retriever their power. And they used it to send an email asking, what are you gonna do for me? And they called it journalism. Bruh. That's a bruised ego with a press pass. Because underneath all of that legal language, this is what happened. Soul Retriever felt disrespected. They felt ignored. They felt like they put in work and weren't getting the access that they thought they deserved. So instead of showing up anyway, staying consistent, letting the value compound over time, they threw a tantrum with attachments. That ain't it, fam. Relationships in this industry, they get built in the trenches over time through trust that compounds slow and it breaks fast. You don't get to the front of the line by holding brands hostage, fam. You get there by being the outlet that brands want to call first because they trust you with the story. Your mama should have told you, you get more bees with honey. Soul Retriever went out with vinegar and signed it. Journalism is the work, not the excuse. The story comes first, not access, not the favor, not what a brand owes you. And Soul Retriever, y'all forgot that. And now the only thing that you're going to be retrieving is a permanent spot on the industry's blacklist. So Collab Cousins, let me ask you this. Was this independent media doing its job or entitlement with a press pass? I'm Bimma, and you've been in the Collab Lab. I'll see you next week.